management and a lot about our coaching. Um, it was an impressive addition. There isn't a person in the league that didn't say to me, you know, we really admire the way this team was built. So, and I'm very proud of it.
When you look at in your opinion, how could you fix or improve the overall officiating combined with video review and on-ice officiating?
I think we're a professional sport, and I think we suffer what all professional sports are trying to get done. We're trying to be perfect without interfering with the game. We try and make all the correct judgments, and it's clear that we're not there yet. That's pretty vague, but I'm going to stay that way.
I feel like in a sense, that there's a saturation point as far as we can only have so much video, we can only, human error is going to be there regardless, and is there kind of like a point where it just levels off and it has to be accepted, or do you think there's real change that can happen?
I think there'll be some real changes. I'm hopeful that we do it better in a very quick way. It's important that this game not be interrupted, but at what cost?
Cam, could you weigh in on that a little bit about the officiating? Has there been any official inquests with the league or any discussions with the league?
Well, there's always discussions. I mean, personally, I try to keep that between myself and who I talk to in the league. I don't like to do it in the press. I think everybody sees what we all see as far as officiating goes, and unfortunately, you're going to have human error, but you want to get it right. They talk about getting it right, so that's the thing the league I know is going to look hard at. It's not just our series; it's the other series that happen throughout the playoffs where one team is always upset after a game. It's like that during the regular season too. So, the fact that we do have some video review and the replays, there's so many camera angles now. There's so many replays that you can see things that the referees miss, but that is going to happen from time to time. They're going to miss some calls and make the wrong call at times.
Back to what Mr. Jacobs said earlier about the team building. Do you see more improvements or different ways that the team can go right now from this core group?
Yeah, we always have to continue to look at how to make our club better. Regardless if you win the last game or not, you still want to look at what you can do to improve your hockey club. We didn't win the last game, so we weren't good enough. We have to look at how we can improve. Coming into next year, we have to learn from this year. We can certainly try to enjoy the year, even though it's difficult when you don't win that last game, especially Game 7. To win it all, it's heartbreaking, really. You feel for the guys, everything they put through throughout the whole season, playing hurt. How hard it is to not only get in, but how hard it is to get to the finals. But we have to move on from that and look at our club and see where we can make improvements.
Kim, I guess Patrice, I think, turns 34 next month. Krejci, 33. See, Marshy's even an adult now. So
That's got too far.
So I mean, as you approach next year, these next couple of years, on the hockey end of it, I mean,
Yeah.
does it change? Like, I know you always want to win it, but like that sense of urgency kind of thing that this window doesn't last forever, and these guys are still at the top of their games, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, when we hired Don, that was certainly a conversation about how do we take this core that won in 11 and give them another opportunity to win while they're still somewhat in their prime. And we still look at it that way. We know our players are now 1 year older, and we're another year removed from winning in 11. So, we have to, we certainly have recognized what we have coming, what we need to have coming, and who, we're talking pretty big shoes to fill. So we're certainly aware of that, and we recognize that. We still think that they've got some good hockey left in them, but we certainly know that, it's winding down, so to speak.
Cam, along those same lines, what do you need in the soon to near future when you look at the overall blueprint?
Like in what do we need moving forward, or like next year?
Next year, the year after?
Yeah.
How do you see all those pieces falling?
Well, obviously, I know it's been talked about at length about another top six forward. So we'll see where that ends up. We're obviously going to need to have some strong centermen coming through the system, as we talked about with where Krejci and Bergeron are. So our back end, I'm pretty comfortable with Carlo. McAvoy, Grzelcyk played really well for us this year. Torrey had a strong year. Obviously Zdeno's another year older, but we've got a couple young, good left-handed prospects coming. So it's just, I think our bottom six was pretty strong this year. So, if we can strengthen in the immediate future our top six, that's something we'd like to try and do, but we've talked about that for a couple of years now.
For Charlie, the number of sellouts, I forget the number I heard, but it's up over 400. Just comment about the business aspect of the Bruins right now. And
yeah, it's business is good. We're in the entertainment business, and I feel we had a solid year and a very solid run. I remember coming to this building and seeing it half empty, and it's changed quite a bit since my tenure. Frankly, we're always trying to improve the product on the ice and the fan experience in the building. And this year and this summer is no different. If you came through here, you probably witnessed a significant amount of construction going on, both out front and inside this building itself. And we're closing this building up for roughly 10 weeks this summer, with no concerts, no shows, no events whatsoever, to redo literally every seat in the entire bowl of the TD Garden will be changed over this summer. We'll be doing some re-ailing, and we're going to be adding some seats to increase the capacity of the building itself. And our goal is by the fall, when the puck drops again, to have one of, if not the best fan experience in the entire National Hockey League.
Charlie, just to expand on that, how did playing as long as the team did maybe put that schedule behind a little bit?
You know what, we, for lack of a better term, sort of reversed engineered what the last possible date is that we could be playing in a Game 7, which we were, fortunately, and made our plans backed up from there. So we'll start on, some of it's happening as we speak, but officially we'll close on the 30th, and for roughly 10 weeks, sort of literally have cranes come on the floor of the TD Garden itself so that we can operate and change level 9. And section by section, we'll be taking seats out. Of course, that needs space to place those seats, and then re-aisle for new seats for 2020 ADA standards and life safety matters. So, what was state of the art in 1995 is vastly different for 2019 and 2020.
We saw a little camp in the back. We saw a little element of this last year against Tampa in the playoffs, and it seemed like also against St. Louis, and you referenced this, where the top six seemed to have a little bit of difficulty against a big defenseman group getting to the net. Does it need to be a little bigger, the top six? Do you need a bigger forward to add to that mix?
I mean, as long if they can skate, I mean, you have to be able to skate nowadays, as you know, in this game. You know, for me, I thought that we could have put more pucks on the net to get their defensemen to turn and look to where the pucks are, as opposed to try and beat guys one-on-one. I felt we should have shot the puck a little bit more to try to create, whether it's rebound opportunities or at least get them scrambling around a little bit. I mean, give them credit, they played well, they kept us on the outside, but I felt like we passed on too many opportunities to put pucks on the net and then see what we could have done from there.
Cam, you mentioned the eventual replenishing of Patrice and David. Why do you think that's a model? It's a model that's worked for you. Why do you think it's one that you want to sustain? Just having strength at those two positions rather than saying we're a team that's built on defense or goaltending. Why do you want that?
Well, yeah, it's a good question. I think it's very important to have your centermen really be responsible at both ends of the ice, and both those guys are. They're, you know, more or less 200-foot players that you know, can help out the D in the defensive zone. They know where to go. They give the defensemen some good outlets to try and create some offense from our zone. You know, I think you know, you win a lot of different ways, but you have to win playing sound defensively, and those guys do that.
Cam, just a comment on Don. In what ways have you seen him grow the most since he assumed this role with the organization? Kind of what challenges has he overcome to get to this point?
Well, I think anytime you're first time at anything, there's some learning, on the job learning that has to be done, and understanding the personalities of the other general managers is a big part of that. Having those relationships, those conversations. And I think, you know, the more you do that, the more comfortable you feel. You know, I think he's done a nice job in recognizing our strengths and weaknesses and try to correct them throughout the year. Communication has been a strong suit of Don's. I think, you know, the communication skills with the coach, Don, myself, I think are extremely important. You know, not any one person has all the right answers, so I think he's done a really good job of being a collaborative, but he's certainly puts in the time, puts in the work. He understands our team very well, and he knows players across the league really well.
Cam, along those same lines, what do you thought of the job that Butch has done?
Well, he's done a very good job for us, obviously. I mean, you know, coming in when he did and getting us to the playoffs, and then almost having two back-to-back 50-win seasons, pretty impressive. You know, learned from our playoff losses and you know, how to maybe coach a little bit differently in the playoffs. You know, it's kind of a tale of two seasons. It's you know, to get into the playoffs, and then once you're in the playoffs, how do you adjust for 7-game series? So I think Butch has done a really good job in managing regular season hockey and learning from playoff hockey.
Charlie, the player tracking will go live at some point next year, and that'll enhance your organization's data and knowledge for what is happening. But I'm wondering, how do you think that could be helpful for the viewer at home? Do you have any ideas? Have you thought, have you had conversations about how the TV viewing experience could be enhanced by more data and whatever's available?
Yeah, along those same lines, Fluto, we've had extensive discussions about what that data means, and you know, we sort of segue into fan engagement and maybe touch upon a topic of wagering, sports wagering, which is sort of, as state by state, seems to be falling across this country and North America. So, yeah, this player data obviously is very important. It's something that we'd like to think the National Hockey League and the NHLPA collectively own, and it is something that, when shared, I believe will drive greater interest in the sport, which is which is wonderful, and frankly, in my opinion, overdue.
Just to follow up on that, what aspect of the data is the wealth of knowledge that we might have, or are you most excited about?
To be honest, there's more and more information coming out about, for instance, even player speed, puck speed. We have a number of different ways of analyzing players' efficiency, whether in the offensive zone or defensive zone. There's a funny quote that Yogi Berra used to say. It's like there's lies, damn lies, and then there's statistics, right? I find it funny because I think that there's sometimes we maybe get caught up in the wrong information and perhaps follow some type of rabbit holes that may not bear any fruit. But if it's all out there on the table, we can determine just exactly what we feel is important for us as management, team owners, and the fans themselves can look at maybe their own data and determine what they feel is important.
Anything else? Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
We'll have some opportunities for some one-on-one and further questions on this side.